Welcome back to the arcade. I said we were going to climb the hill, and we are. Here we go. There we go. That's it. We're all done. Leaving Kanto Pani behind marks the true start of the wilderness. Beyond that tiny outpost, there are scattered homesteads and Kar, a thriving city port. But all are touched by cruelty, isolation, and fear. The black lawns and the long shadow cast by Mampang Fortress darken everything. And with the crown stolen, things can only grow worse. In the long years since Chalana and the Reformer founded the Alliance, the crown has been passed from kingdom to kingdom every 4 years, ensuring each one has its turn to lead. But no more. Roddlestone, Lendolan, and Galantaria and Bryce have all enjoyed its power. But not Anal Land. But when the crown came to Anal Land, it was stolen by birdmen from Zaman and carried off to Mampang. Steve Jackson did Birdmen first. Oh, this game's based off of a book written by Steve Jackson back in like the 80s and 70s. Anyway, with the crown, the Archmage... Oh God, excuse me, holy shit. Oh, that was gross. With the crown, the Archmage will be unstoppably powerful. There was no chance of sending an army against him. A military force would not survive the journey. So here you are, a lone hero, walking the long path to Mampang alone. 5 minutes later, you reach a fork in the road. The sergeant, for all his eyesight, hadn't mentioned this. The road splits around the base of a gigantic tree, but does not rejoin the other side. The left path winds down into a valley, and the right rises up a slope towards the first thick forest of the hills. Look right. It's hard to see much further uphill. The forest is sudden and thick, and the path narrow. It may be hard going in that direction, but the hills will involve a lot of climbing eventually, and you may get a decent view of the next leg from the top of the ridge. Look left. You pause to consider the lower route. There is a river there, and the path follows the left bank. It is a safer route, secluded and protected, but the curve of the landscape would mean you are almost backtracking. You are about to make your choice when you hear a faint cry from somewhere close at hand. Look around. You look around, and finally up into the branches of the tree. A pair of wizened, calloused feet are dangling down over your head, about to drop on you, perhaps? Who's there? You call. The voice cries again, a little more boldly this time. Up here! Help! Help! I can't get down! It is the voice of a feeble, wiry old man. Stepping back a little, you can see him clearly, as thin as sticks and dressed in dirt rags. What are you hiding from? How the old man got up the tree is a puzzle. He must have been escaping someone fearsome to climb so high. What are you hiding from, you cry? Damned Elvins, he replied. I were traveling from Dumpus to the outpost settlement in Annelland, but I were waylaid by Elvins, robbed me blind, all but took me eyes and left me up the tree. I kept getting older, you see. We all do, but some worse than others. Climbed up and I'm too old to get down. Help him out of the tree. Swinging yourself onto the lowest branch of the tree, you reach up and grab the old man by the waist. He is light as a leaf, and within a moment you have lifted him to the ground. Thanks for that, he remarks, brushing himself down and almost knocking himself over in the process. I was just starting to get a bit worried, you know. Perturbed, but I'm on the safe now. He seems remarkably confident, considering that the slightest stumble might break him into bits. What will you do now, you ask? Keep going for Annelland, he says. That's where I set off from. So if you haven't figured it out already from this clue, he is the last champion before you. This is the guy. He set off from Anal Land, and Anal Land, and he is the last champion, and clearly he has failed. You wouldn't believe the story if I told you. Suffice to say, though, if I know me eyes from me eyes, you're heading out to Mampang, and you better be smarter than I was. And here, he presses a page into your hand. It is a page torn from a spell book. "This might be of some use to you. I found this, just found it, mind, and don't go asking how. But it's no good to me anymore." Take it." You take the page and thank him. The man falls quiet and squats down on the ground. With his jabbering done, you hear a buzzing sound from high up in the tree. A beehive. Climb up and investigate. Leaving the old man sighing with gratitude on the ground, you climb up through the branches of the tall tree. I know it seems risky to try to get some honey from this beehive, but it's actually really good for us right now. The beehive hangs like a ripe fruit from the very highest branch. A huge number of bees dance in and out in a swarm. Climb higher. You climb up into the branches. The bees are quick to attack. You cannot brush them away as your hands are clinging onto the tree, so you are stung on your arms, head, and neck. "Looks nasty," the old man remarks. Keep climbing for the hive. But you aren't going to let some bees stop you. You climb higher, sustaining a few more stings before you reach the hive and knock it to the ground. Dropping quickly down again, you cut it open, remove a lump of wax and enough honeycomb for one meal. You stash your finds in your pack. The light is fading. It's time to move on. "Oh!" the man cries suddenly. "Do you want to hear me riddle? I heard it from the Elvins." Hear him out. You gesture with a hand for him to speak. See him through, he sees you not. A stinging beast in a box not left. To a god a key it is his lot. To gowl a witch of luck bereft." You thank him. You nod once, then turn your attention to the path ahead. I have no idea what any of that means. Also, we're not taking the low path. That path sucks. The high route seems the most secure. In a valley, you can be easily observed from above and led astray. But out in the hills, you can go whichever way you choose. Of course, when night falls, it may be cold and exposed up on the slopes, but no matter. This journey was never destined to be easy. You begin to climb, letting the old man's jabbering fade away quickly. The path winds upwards into the hills, into the cover of a wood. The afternoon sun glints through the trees and plays tricks on your eyes. Every so often you catch a glimpse of some strange-shaped animal or other watching you, only to find that it is the silhouette of branches and leaves caught at an odd angle. After an hour's walk, you are starting to feel hungry. Continue walking, it doesn't matter. You ignore the rumblings of your belly and keep up your pace. The climb continues. With the path twisting this way and that, the air grows cold and the sun flickers on the horizon, then sets, making it hard to see your way. But the moon is full. When twilight is done, it will be bright once more. So we can keep walking or make camp. If I remember right, keep walking is the right choice. Making camp, I think, attracts vampire bats to you. You are young and strong, and there will be plenty of nights later in your journey where you can catch up on some sleep in a real bed. Reasoning that to sleep on hard earth would be almost as tiring as to walk. You walk. You will suffer for it physically. Of course, your stomach rumbles loudly. You have not eaten all day, and this will leave you further weakened. The stars came out one by one above you, writing out the names of the spirits, including your own, the ape. You continue on your weary way. As you walk, you think of the crown. It calls you onward already, even though you have never seen it. It is as if it knows your name and is waiting for you deep in the fortress of Mampang. But does it summon you to rescue it and restore the balance of power to the Fem-Free Alliance? Or does it summon you to your death and destruction to place a seal on the power of the Archmage? Archmage, maybe? I've never really learned how to say that word. The second day of your journey begins in the morning cool. You feel the presence of your spirit, the ape, close nearby. Its form has changed since you left Anal Land, just as you have changed, but it is still walking beside you. In the temple, they taught you that a prayer to your spirit could heal disease, lift curses, and even save you from certain death. A prayer now would perhaps be wise, but the spirits are not generous and decline to help often. You can feel yourself getting accustomed to the... that usually means you should probably pray. See, there we go. Anyway. You can feel yourself getting accustomed to the fetid air of these hills. You have now ascended several hundred feet and can expect to make excellent progress before the end of the day. As you crest the brow of a hill, you see something that makes you stop in your tracks. To your left is a clearing, and in that clearing are several poles, planted firmly in the ground, and atop each pole is a head. Look at the heads. The heads are all of all kinds and ages. Some are recently fixed while others have decayed, and some are nothing but skulls and hair. There are human heads, goblin heads, and one or two heads of creatures you don't recognize. All have sewn up eyes and mouths. A large X painted on a rock nearby is obviously intended as a warning not to venture any further. But ahead the road forks, left and right, and you cannot be sure which path you are warned not to take. The right-hand path continues to climb, and the left-hand path winds down the side of the hill. Let's see. So, this village here, or was it... I can't remember. I think both of these villages suck ass. Like, they're just useless. And that one in particular, right here, screws you over so hard. So we're just gonna go to here, the mine. The climb continues up the hill for several hours until you are not far from the top. Then the faint sound of bustling activity reaches you. Trampling feet, grunting voices, and the clanking of metal against rock. There is something ahead, hidden by the ancient trees that line these slopes. Follow the sound. You leave the path and continue through the woods. A short distance onwards, you find behind a tree. You hide behind a tree and survey a clearing. A number of goblins are in the clearing, working at the mouth of an open cave. They trudge in and out of the opening, carrying large bowls in their arms, piled up with glistening rocks and dull metallic nuggets. Watch them work. You stay hidden, getting a sense of the scale of the operation. There are at least 30 goblins inside the cave, each coming out every few minutes or so with a new pail of stones. Then there are other goblins working in the clearing with hammers, smashing the rocks into small pieces, extracting metals from inside, loading them into crates, and finally pushing the carts away down a wide track between the trees. It is quite some operation, but not without its weaknesses. There are too many goblins to create any kind of distraction, but they move away into the trees fairly often, and sometimes the cave is left unguarded. Try to slip into the cave. You creep closer, moving around the side of the hill, nearer to the entrance of the cave. Then, when all is quiet, you seize your chance and race across the clearing to the mouth of the cave. In the mine. You pause a moment at the cave mouth, but no one has seen you. Following the passage cautiously, you move between the cool rock walls of the mine, passing and ignoring ladders that lead down into the clamoring heart of the mine, where 100 goblins sing as they work. Eventually, you reach a junction. Let's see, we should probably go right first. You follow the passage to the right. It twists around deeper into the hillside, and ends in a sealed wooden door. Try the door. You try the door. Locked. So we can cast a spell because we prayed to our spirit guide. You can't cast a spell. Every spell takes stamina. You can't cast a spell if you don't have enough stamina for it because it will kill you. You cast the spell. The door shudders as it locks, turn over, and then the handle moves on its own accord. On your guard, you watch as it swings open. The room beyond is large and appears to be a storeroom of some kind. In one corner is a pile of black rocks, and more rocks are held in a bucket nearby. These flicker with a dull glistening light, but most intriguing of all is what stands in the center of the space. A mechanical apparatus, perhaps a press or a stone cutter, being operated by a large and powerful ogre. There he is. He's ugly. And that's the machine. All of these images, I think this is right. All of these images come from the original books, which is really cool. He does not, for the moment, seem to have noticed you. Okay, next time on Double Jump, we'll deal with this ogre. Bye!